let's be real for a second. Dubai chocolate kinda sucks, which is annoying because the pistachio cream and crunchy Kunafa filling is actually delicious, but it just gets overwhelmed by the chocolate. So I wanted to roll back time and show you the viral Egyptian dessert that inspired the Dubai chocolate, and in this case, it's actually good. It's like a layered trifle, but instead of the soggy cake, you've got crunchy Kunafa, a luscious cream filling, and then a delicious pistachio cream, or if you're feeling something fresh, Egyptian mangoes. 15 years ago when I lived in Egypt, this was the viral Ramadan dessert and it was constantly sold out. I've never met anyone who doesn't like it, and I think this should have been the Kunafa preparation that went viral. Let's get started. So this is the key to any Kunafa dessert. Toasted, crispy Kunafa pastry. It is 100% crunch. Just give it a listen. That is insanely crispy, and it's why Kunafa is so good for cream-based desserts. And thanks to the virality of Dubai chocolate, you can actually find cooked Kunafa for sale at some places, but more than likely, you'll have some raw Kunafa that you gotta cook yourself. Let me show you. Now this is a frozen block of Kunafa that I got from my local Turkish grocery store. You will find it at Middle Eastern, Arab, Turkish supermarkets or even Greek supermarkets, probably in the freezer section. Each block is made up of lots and lots of strands of Kunafa that have been tied together and folded on each other, but they really are about this long. They're thin, like hairs, and we use them to make desserts, like we'll wrap them around nuts or, even shrimp or something like that, and on some butter, and then all of that will go crispy when you bake it. However, in this situation, we need small strands of Kunafa so that we can toast them. So what I'm going to do is start slicing this up. Now the goal is going to be to chop this into quite small pieces. The smaller it is, the easier it will be to cook. I'm going to go for about 1/2 centimeter or less than 1/4 of an inch. So I've given this a chop and it has mostly been cut up into small pieces, but with the way Kunafa is packaged, it usually sticks together in clumps like this. And when you get clumps, you got to break them apart. So just give them a squish, go through this and try and separate out the different threads of Kunafa. You'll find that the size actually doesn't come out very consistent. And that's why I always just run through it with a knife a couple more times, because there will be some long threads in there that you want to slice down to a more manageable size. And this is what you end up with once you've cut it. You've got nice pieces of Kunafa here. They're small in size. There are some longer ones as well, but that's not an issue because they'll break in the pan as you're stirring things. Let's get over to the stove. I'm going to show you how we cook it. You're going to need a pan, preferably stainless steel, and with high walls like this one from today's video sponsor, Made In. Now to cook the Kunafa, you're going to have to toast it in a pan for about 30 minutes, stirring it quite a lot, and in any regular pan, things will fall out. But this saucier has nice and high walls, and it can do everything in the kitchen, so it's become my go-to pan for whatever I'm cooking. It's got loads of surface area for searing, nice curved walls that make flipping the Kunafa a breeze, and then a lovely lip that makes pouring out sauces super easy. If you've never used a saucier before, think of everything a frying pan can do, and this can do it better. Made In specialty is making professional quality cookware for the home cook, relying on their experience of supplying over 2,000 of the top restaurants and hotels in America. They've made this from their 5-ply stainless steel, which compared to other stainless steel pans, gives it superior heat retention, heat distribution, and makes it so much easier to control the temperature of your pan. It's also completely free of any non-stick coatings. That means there's no risks of any chemicals leaching into your food while giving you the same performance as a non-stick pan. So if you're looking for an amazing all-rounder pan that can do everything from cooking a pasta to searing a steak, check out the stainless steel collection and my other favorites from Made In using the link in my description. And trust me, this pan is well worth the money. Now usually to cook Kunafa, it is soaked in clarified butter and baked in the oven. Without any sort of fat, the Kunafa won't crisp up. So I'm going to take some butter and melt it in the microwave. Now the butter has melted and it's split into 2 parts, the yellow butter fat and then some white milk. We want just the yellow part, so I'm going to pour that in until I get to the milky bit and then I'll stop pouring. That looks about right. And then I'm also going to transfer the Kunafa into the pan and we'll get this cooking. I'm going to place this on medium-high heat, so about 7.5 to 8. And then I'm also going to add one more ingredient, which is powdered sugar. So I'm just going to add that in. And then I'm going to use a spatula to start stirring things. Now, the nice thing about having a sauté pan is I've got a nice long handle and I can easily flip things over using the edge of the pan. There is some Kunafa that has gone onto the fat and has absorbed all of it. And then the rest of the Kunafa doesn't really have any fat with it. So you're going to start stirring this together until you've distributed most of that fat out and the Kunafa is all equally colored or equally fatted, I guess, if that's the word. It's going to take about half an hour in total, and you do need to mix the whole time. 30 minutes later, and I've just turned off the heat because the Kunafa is toasted and it is golden. Now you got to transfer it out of the pan because it will continue to cook and it might burn. So I'm just going to pour it out onto a tray and then I'll spread it out to cool down. Now this is going to need to cool completely before you use it in any dessert. So just set it aside, and then while it is cooling down, you can go ahead and prep the rest of the dessert. So let's talk about toppings, because this dessert is really versatile and you can add any flavoring you want. Now, when this dessert first came about, it was Ramadan, and Kunafa is usually served during Ramadan. It was also peak mango season. So one of the dessert shops thought, well, how about let's make a trifle and replace the cake with Kunafa, and then replace the custard with a nice whipped cream filling. But then as Ramadan has shifted over the years, they've come up with other flavors like strawberry, red velvet, and then pistachio. And that's where the inspiration for the Dubai chocolate came from. Personally though, I think mango is the best one. I've done strawberries and cream and it has been fantastic, but nothing beats good, perfectly ripe mangoes. So let's prep some and show you how to get those perfect mango cubes every time. Now these are Pakistani mangoes. They have a very sweet flavor and a nice creamy texture. I've already washed them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off 2 cheeks just going around the seed. Now you can just scrape this out if you want to, but if you want perfect chunks, cut the cheeks into strips and then make a few indentations, don't go through the skin. And then grab yourself a glass, preferably something with very thin walls, and all you got to do is just pull the skin of the mango against the glass, and that should cause the mango to fall in, giving you nice cubes. If you're only doing a small amount, this doesn't take long at all to do. And by the way, look how little mango is left on those skins. This is such an efficient way of getting mango cubes. Pit is always the chef's treat. Well, as you can see from that one mango, we got all of these mango cubes, which are going to be perfect for putting onto our dessert. I'm going to go work through the rest of those, and then we'll get back to make the cream and assemble. Now, to make the cream filling, I've broken out this stand mixer because I want to whip up a luscious and creamy mascarpone cream filling. Most people who make this will use a packet of whipped cream powder or some other form of stabilized cream. We're going to go for something a bit more decadent though, and it starts off with a bunch of mascarpone. So I'll add that into the stand mixer, and I've got the whisk attachment on it, and then just a small amount of sugar. I'm going to turn this on low heat, and I'm going to allow the mascarpone and sugar to cream together. Now you're just going to mix it for a couple of minutes until the mascarpone resembles the texture of a really soft cream cheese. Now we can go in with some heavy cream. But now that that's in there, you'll just leave it to run for about 8 to 10 minutes until you have some nice whipped soft peaks in your cream. Don't forget to stop partway through though and mix down so you can scrape off anything that's stuck to the side of the bowl. Right, so I think this is the texture that we're looking for. It is nice and creamy, really soft, doesn't hold a peak, but it is whipped together, and that is going to make the dessert absolutely incredible. Let's get to assembly. Now I'm going to start off by assembling some individual portions. I'm going to just do it in this glass mug. First things first, nice amount of Konafa into the bottom of the mug. Next comes the cream, and I've just put this in a piping bag to make it easier to fill the cup, and then fill the cup with the cream. And then we can go in with the first topping, and I'm going to do this one pistachio. So I've softened this in the microwave for about a minute on a low heat, and I'm just going to add in a couple of nice dollops. And then you just repeat that all over again. Another layer of Konafa, and then another layer of cream, and one more layer of amazing pistachio. And that is how you make a pistachio kunafa. I recommend you try the mango one too, because that one is absolutely excellent. First, take a few chunks of mango and blend them up into a juice. Then layer your dessert as normal with kunafa, cream, mango chunks, mango juice, kunafa, cream, mango chunks, and mango juice, and a few more mango chunks to garnish. Time to see if this is as good as I remember. And I love mangoes, so I'm really excited for this one. That is absolutely delicious. Great texture, so much flavor, and the balance between the cream, mango, and kunafa is absolutely perfect. Let's see what this tastes like. Wow, that is so good. What an incredible dessert. And actually, I really like the pistachio one too. So give it a try, let me know what you think, and tell me what you would top your kunafa with.